Welcome, everyone, to Unity of Port Townsend. Let us please say what we believe we are as a community. We are an authentic, transformative community centered in God. We co-create a world that works for all. And in case some of you don't know me, I'm Bianca Thayer. I'm the board chairperson for Unity of Port Townsend. And I want to welcome all our guests today. Thank you so much for coming. The reason I'm up here today is that Reverend Pam is on a very much well-deserved vacation on a big cruise with her husband, Lane. And it turns out that David Goldsmith, our normal worship leader, is also on vacation, a trip that he had planned before Pam found out she was going on her cruise. And so he's in Yellowstone National Park with his wife, and they're doing an adventure there. So I am here today to lead the worship service, and we have a fantastic speaker here today, Dr. Saul Shaye, who I'll be introducing in a minute. But let us go ahead and start like we usually do with lighting the Christ candle and singing Come Light, Light of God. Come light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. I also want to say welcome to all those people on Zoom today. Sorry, I hope you were lighting your candle at the same time we were lighting our candle. So welcome to the folks on Zoom and everyone that's here. And now it's time to actually sing our opening song. So if you please stand, hopefully you have your song sheets, and we're singing our wonderful song.
My soul sustained. Let them rain, let them rain. I hold your presence here inside of me. rest in knowing you are here. Brighter than 1,000 stars across the sky. How you shine, how you shine. Peace, love in me.
Beautiful. All right, everyone, please be seated. I'm going to do the inspirational reading in the Daily Word, and then I'll be introducing Dr. Shaye. So, my pick for the inspirational reading today, since our topic is Let Your Light Shine, maybe I need to move over here. How's this? This seems like a better spot. Oh, maybe not. All right, I'll try to not have feedback, sorry. So, since the topic is Let Your Light Shine, I searched around for some poems and found this one by a lady named Sharon Legault. Let your light shine through and through. Be a lighthouse on a hill. Shine your beacon through and through. Tell others about God. Give others hope renewed. Let your light so shine upon men, never let your light grow dim. Keep it shining ever brightly. Share the gift you possess within. Shine on your world brightly. Shower on other God's love. Keep your spirit warm and kindled for another's faith to rise above. Be you a light in every corner. It doesn't matter where you are. Be the light in someone's darkness when their way to God seems barred. You may be the only light in someone's dark world where souls are lost and broken. Give them wings to fly unfurled. Go light your world around you. Give others hope to dream. Ignite the light you bear. Shine the Master Supreme. Be thankful for God's light. Shine his light through and through. Tell others God's love story. Light the world around you. So, the daily word today also ties in to some things that Dr. Shaye is going to be talking about. The daily word today is healing. So look at that, light and healing, wonderful. Divine life lives as me. I am whole and well. When I am experiencing a healing need, like my hand, I focus my thoughts beyond illness and discomfort. Even as I seek treatment for the injury or illness, I see myself whole. I remember that I am created in the image according to the likeness of God. I know my life is God's life, living as me. Divine life fills every cell, strengthens every muscle, bone, and organ, and quickens every nerve in my body. It restores perfect order to all my body's functions, releasing and replacing anything unlike itself. When someone asks me to pray for them, I do not ask about their symptoms or circumstances. I affirm the healing activity of divine life in each one with whom I pray. I see them as the spiritual beings they are, whole and well. And from John 1, verse 4, in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. Healing. So, on that wonderful note, let me introduce Dr. Shaye. I know that we have talked about Dr. Shaye coming, and we're all excited to have him back. He's been here before. Dr. Saul Shaye was a chiropractor for 18 years in full-time practice until 1993. He has been a spiritual healer for 42 years, but has been doing the healing full-time since 1993. So imagine, he was a well-known chiropractor and decided to devote his life to spiritual healing many years ago, 30 years ago now, right? Dr. Shaye was the former vice president of the Spiritual Healers Association of America from 1993 to 1999, and the author of the books He Who Walks on Two Worlds, The Double E Diet, and The Bigger Little Book of Miracles. Dr. Shaye has lectured in 8 different countries and for over 25 different Unity churches in the U.S., Canada, and Great Britain. This is the second time he has visited us here in Port Townsend. His last visit was in November of 2018, so before the pandemic. For the last 20 years, he has worked with the National Football League as a spiritual healer and has worked on over 100 players and coaches with the Green Bay Packers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and for the last 10 years, the Kansas City Chiefs. No wonder they keep winning, right? The Kansas City Chiefs. Wow, all right. So at this point, I'm going to let Dr. Shaye go into our meditation that we normally have at this time in the service. We're going to start with the song Sanctuary, and then Dr. Shaye is going to lead the meditation. After the meditation, we will have a inspirational song, right? Is that right? Special music from Ron and Clara, and then Dr. Shaye is going to give his talk today, all about healing.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you. Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you.
It is not I, but the Christ within who does the work. For these few brief moments, these precious moments of prayer and meditation, we relax and allow the pressures and concerns of the day to slip gently away. Let us close our eyes and take a few easy breaths. In this relaxed state, we are tuned to the love of God and are completely aware of it as peace, health, wisdom, security, abundance. As we breathe in God's love. As we breathe out, we release any thought not in harmony with God's gentle, all-providing love. We are totally relaxed, totally in tune with the love of God and with all humanity. I surrender my will to the guidance of the Christ within me. My ego self often feels powerless and unable to solve perceived problems. I choose to remember to have my ego self step aside and focus my awareness on the Christ within me, my source of empowerment. I believe that a power greater than my ego self, the creative intelligence, the universal mind, is responding to me in a personal, positive way, and is restoring me to its divine intelligence and its perfect order right now. I need only step out of the way and allow this to happen. I now make a decision to place my will, my life, my mind, my emotions, every situation, all conditions, circumstances, everything that exists in my life under the direction and power of the Christ within me. I ask the universal mind to take complete charge of my life. I ask for the specific help I need to recognize the Christ presence within me and to allow that Christ mind to work through me, whether for healing, a special project, guidance, or any other situation in my life. I ask and know that the universal mind responds to my request. I joyously accept and give thanks, knowing that the miracle-working power of the Christ within me has already responded to my every need. My life has joyously changed, and I take on the same feelings I would have if my request had already been fulfilled. We now have a covenant with the Christ mind, present in each of us, to get out of the way and accept the good that wants to come into our lives. And we go out into the world with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, expectancy, and exuberant joy. As we go out into the world, we act, feel, and express love from this moment forward in every situation. We conduct ourselves as though the perfect solution has unfolded in every area of our lives. We forgive ourselves should we return to our former ways and thoughts, and allow ourselves to come back to our Christ center. We dedicate ourselves to be of maximum service to God and our fellow beings, to live in a manner that sets the highest example of centeredness and joy for others to follow, and to remain an open channel of God's love. We are at peace. Repeat together, I am at peace. I am at peace. Slowly let your mind become aware of the presence of this room, and slowly, when you are ready, allow your eyes to open.
Love prepare me to be a sanctuary. Oh, for you.
Okay, my talk this morning is called. Oh, special. Okay.
Thank you. This is run by.
Be the change that you are seeking. Be the love that you've been given. Be the peace that cannot be taken. Now that's living. I got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Jesus light.
The Jesus light.
You got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Buddha light.
The Buddha light.
I got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Krishna light.
The Krishna light.
I put myself in the service of the Lord. I got the light. I put myself in the service of the Lord. I got the light. Let go of the I am struggling to get to the I can do. The power in us is living when we're living in the truth. Be the change that you are seeking. Be the love that you've been given. Be the peace that cannot be taken. That's living. That's living. I got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Jesus light.
The Jesus
I
light.
got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Buddha light.
The Buddha
I
light.
got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the
You
light.
got the light.
We got the Krishna light.
The Krishna light.
I put myself in the service of the Lord. We got the light. I put myself in the service of the Lord. We got the light. Let go of the I am fearful to get to the I am free. We are the creators of who we want to be. Be the change that you are seeking. Be the love that you've been given. Be the peace that cannot be taken. Now that's living. That's living. I got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Jesus light.
The Jesus light.
We got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Buddha light.
The Buddha light.
I got the light.
I've got the light.
You got the light.
You got the light.
We got the Krishna light.
The Krishna light.
I put myself in the service of the Lord. I got the light. I put myself in the service of the Lord. I got the light. Now everybody shine, everybody shine, shine. Everybody shine your light. Everybody shine, everybody shine, shine. Everybody shine your light. Everybody shine, everybody shine, shine. Everybody shine your light. I put myself in the service of the Lord. We got the light. We got the light.
We've got the light.
We got the light.
We've got the light.
We got the light.
We've got the light.
Okay, my talk this morning is called Let Your Light Shine. Many years ago, there was a short story on HBO called Releasing the Fat Man Within. And it was a story about three buddies who got together many, many years after graduating college. One was a successful lawyer, one was an accountant, and one had gotten very, very big. Well, as they were reminiscing about their college days, the lawyer kept on drinking a lot of alcohol, and he got very intoxicated, and he started staring at the big guy. And he goes, "You're so big." He said, "In college, you used to be thin." He said, "What happened?" And the big guy said, "Well, you know, in college, I was always doing what other people wanted me to do." He said, "You know what? I like eating. I like being big." And he does a somersault across the floor, and he goes, "I'm Bobo the Clown. I work at the circus. I had to learn to release the fat man within." And the accountant goes, "Wow, that's amazing." And the clown says, "Didn't you used to play a piano?" And he said, "Yeah, but that was many, many years ago. You know, accounting pays a lot more." So the clown says, "Well, how are your kids?" He said, "Oh, they're grown, they're married, they've left a long time ago." And he said, "Well, why don't you play the piano some more?" And he goes, "Well, you know what? Maybe I will." So he goes home and he asks his wife if it's okay if he gets a job working the piano bar, you know, one night a week. His wife says, "Well, yeah, if that's what you want to do." And he finds he really likes it, and he gradually makes it his full-time job. He had to learn to release the fat man within and let his light shine. Now, I grew up in an inner-city ghetto in Brooklyn, New York. And right from my earliest days, I realized it was going to be up to me to figure out life. You know, my dad had a really good income as a union painter, but he was a gambler. So we lived in condemned housing, meaning that every 2 years we had to move again because they were tearing down the house. One time, me and my next oldest brother were being chased by a gang, and as we came to the corner, I turned to him and said, "What are we going to do?" And he turned to me and said, "What do you mean, we?" And I realized it was every man for himself. So when I was 10 years old, I found an axle in the street, and I said, "You know, I'm going to drag that home and I'm going to start working out." Well, my 4 older brothers said, "You can't be a weightlifter, you're too puny." But something within me said, "Well, how will I know unless I try it?" Well, very little happened the first 3 years. Very little happened the next 3 years. But I never gave up. 13 years after I started, I set the Louisiana record in the bench press of 340 pounds while weighing only 147. And 18 years later, I started placing in physique contests. It's not over till it's over. Also, in 8th grade, I decided to go out for the track team. And back then, the trials for everybody was the 100-yard dash. And I ran it on Monday in 15.8. And the coach turned to me and said, "Shaye, you're too slow." Then I showed up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And each day he said, "Shaye, you're too slow. But it seems like you're willing to work, so you can come on the team." Next year I was captain. I was captain in high school. I was captain in college. And then I got a track scholarship to LSU. It's not over till it's over. Now, I was very good at math in high school, so I got an A in calculus. Got to college, got an A in calculus. My brother said, "You're good in math, you got to be an engineer." And I said to myself, "You know, I'm good in math, but shouldn't I like it if I'm going to do it the rest of my life?" And the next year I said, "Let me take a biology course." And I really liked it. I said, "That's what I'm going to do. I want to deal with living things." Now, I've recorded over 18,000 of my own dreams. And dreams have given me insights into so many different parts of my life. The healing that I do actually started with a dream. I had a dream that I was in a church, came out of the church, and there was a gate with a lock on it. I made the sign of the cross and said, "In the name of the Christ," and the lock opened. And then a voice said, look at that, we have Christ in our midst. And I said, no, I'm no one. I'm here to help him manifest the Christ. Thought it was a wonderful dream. I didn't know what to do with it. I'm at an Edgar Casey conference in Phoenix, Arizona. We're discussing dreams, and I mentioned this dream. And a woman says, well, you're a chiropractor. Why don't you make the sign of the cross over someone's spine? And I go, well, what's that going to do? She said, humor me. So I checked the person's spine. One leg was an inch shorter, stepped 5 feet away, and made the sign of the cross and said, in the name of the Christ. And their spine lined up as their legs evened out. That's how the healing started. Another dream said, in time you'll work with all things, but you won't seek it out. When it is right, it'll be brought to you. Another dream said, the reason you've been led to Monroe, Louisiana, is that the sparse social activity will be helpful for your growth. And when the time is right, you will be led forth. Another dream, I was a little baby in a crib. I was about 1 inch big, so I was really small. In another crib, there's a big baby running around the crib, and he's about 3 feet tall. A voice said, he's bigger, so he can move. When you two are bigger, you too can move. I knew that I had things to learn right there in Monroe, Louisiana, and that when the time was right, I would be led forth. Now, twice I had a dream that I was in like a Nazi concentration camp, and I had some religious thing in my hand. I don't know if it was a Star of David or a cross, but the guards pointed their rifles at me and said, open your hand. And I was afraid if I opened my hand, they'd shoot me. But in both dreams, I opened my hand, and they shot me. And I woke up like I had just been shot. But it was like another dream that someone says, if the choice be between God and $1 million, who do you choose? And I said, I choose God. So many times dreams give you insights into yourself even before you know it about yourself. See, I was a chiropractor for 18 years from 1975 to 1993. Finally, in 1993, I closed the clinic and gave it away. I just thought if I'd never tried this spiritual healing, I would never forgive myself. That year that I gave up my clinic was a very difficult year financially. So at the end of the year, I'm giving a talk in a bookstore in Dallas to about 5 people. And one of the people in the audience was a minister who was a retired minister of Unity of Dallas. And he said, you know, I think the church would like to hear your story. And my first Unity church was Unity of Dallas in February 1994. Back then, they were the 3rd biggest in the country, you know, over 1,000 Sunday morning. And that's when things started picking up. So I like being a chiropractor. I love being a spiritual healer. I get to see miracles on an everyday basis. I was seeing a little old lady who had neuropathy, and she wanted to come for a session at one of the churches I was at, which was upstairs. And I saw her at the bottom of the steps, and she said, well, I can't come up. My feet hurt. I can't move. And I said, do you want some healing? She said, yes. So I zapped her from the top of the stairs, and she's at the bottom of the stairs and starts tapping her feet. And she came right up the steps. And then seeing a lady who had blocked tear ducts and was blind. And at the Festival of Mind, Body, Spirit in London, England, I gave her some healing. Her eyes started watering and she started seeing, which actually opened up her husband that he could do spiritual healing because he saw what I did. And it was written up in the newspaper. Blind woman's husband becomes spiritual healer after meeting American who does spiritual healing. Or it's seeing a dog that was born with a defective heart and had to be on special medication, and I did the healing. Within 6 weeks, the heart was normal. So it's all these amazing things. Yes, I used to be a chiropractor, but I had to learn to release the fat man within. I had to let my light shine. So these last 30 years have been the happiest of my life so far. You know, in Modern Maturity magazine, there was an article called Taking Charge. These were stories about people who reinvented their lives. Now, changing careers required courage. It meant sacrificing security, leaving the established perch. They had to challenge themselves, prove themselves, and overcome doubt. But in the stories, career change led not simply to a greater sense of self, but each person took a chance to pursue a dream and discover passion. They had to ask some very difficult questions. What do I care about? Ultimately, by reinventing their careers, they also reinvented their lives and felt a deeper connection to the universe and all of life. Now, Edgar Cayce called this an adventure in consciousness. Don't limit the experience. Let your light shine. The Talmud says that every blade of grass has its angel bending over it, whispering, grow, grow, become, become, become all you can be. There's something wonderful and majestic in you, something beyond your wildest dreams. Now, do you believe that you are a unique creation of God? Do you believe that you came here on a mission? Scripture tells us, if God be with me, who can be against me? Dr. Gary Arnold, in his lecture, Three Things My Father Taught Me, pointed out that life itself has meaning and purpose. Life itself is intrinsically good. 2, that miracles happen in everyday situations, in the day-to-day things, the small things. And it is up to us to unfold these blossoms, to look at life situations as holders of miracles within. And 3, deep down within us all, there's a potential. It's silent, but if we stopped and listened, we can direct it to express itself. In Matthew 6:33, Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Reverend Mary Manon Morrissey wrote the book, Building Your Field of Dreams. And she said, you can build your own field of dreams. You are the farmer. The field is your life. The earth is available to anyone willing to plant. We grow a crop of life with the thoughts we hold. We all have access to an inner voice, not one of reason and logic, but of guidance. And these thoughts are the seeds given to us from God in infinite number. Building your field of dreams changes your life in 3 ways. You come to recognize the deep desires of your heart. You learn to break through the self-defeating thoughts into the realm where the impossible becomes possible. And 3, you come to realize that no dream as great as the person you become for holding and being true to it. The crop you harvest may be magnificent. The soul that emerges through your dream building is even more so. Now, one chapter of my book talks about football dreams. And it's all these football symbolic dreams. It says, I'm this great player, and I have this great supporting cast, and my front line is made up of giant angels with wings. And one lady read the book and said, Dr. Shaye, you're so conceited. And I wrote back to her, you don't understand. These dreams are archetypal of all of us. You are so much more than you think you are. You've got all this amazing guidance within, and you've got a great assistant group of people, souls, guides around you to try to help you accomplish things. Reverend Morrissey says it's not that you can't create many wonderful things by hard work and using your imagination, but you can. But suppose the most powerful being in the universe was your partner. So instead of playing a game, you're building a dream. With God at your side assisting you, you create something that's totally beyond your imagination of what is possible to conjure. Emmett Fox, in the mental equivalent, states that whatever enters into your life is but the material expression of some belief in your own mind. the kind of body you have, the kind of home you have, the kind of work you do, the kind of people you meet, all are conditioned by and correspond to the deepest mental concept you hold. So what thoughts are you holding? Once again, dreams can give us insight. I had a dream that I called Space Station. And I'm in this outer space station, and also an emergency message. The ship is too heavy. If we don't lighten the load immediately, all will die. And without another thought, I open the hatchway and I leap out into space. But instead of finding me in space and dying, I found myself in a beautiful green field filled with beautiful people. And I thought of the thought, no greater love that he will put down his life for his fellow man. Now, Alan Cohen, in his book, Dare to Be Yourself, tells the story about the golden Buddha. This was a giant head of gold in the shape of the Buddha in the Orient. And monks would come and meditate and worship under the golden Buddha. And one day they heard about an army coming over the mountainside. And they said if they see the golden Buddha, they're going to pillage it. And they said, how can we protect the golden Buddha? And they finally came up with covering it with mud and mortar. And they no sooner finished, the army came into the village, went right by the Buddha, and kept on going. The years came and passed, and everybody forgot that the Buddha was covered with gold underneath. One day, a young monk is meditating by the Buddha and sees something shiny, and he scratches away the mud and sees the gold within. See, the golden Buddha is within all of us. Behind the facades and defenses and images we present to the world, there is a bright and precious soul calling for expression. There is one within us who is strong, wise, and compassionate. This is the one we've been questing for all our lives. The golden Buddha is you and me. We can hide who we are, but we cannot destroy it. Ultimately, we must come to put aside our fears and claim our heart's desire and let our light shine. Now, whatever else you do in life, always leave a place for laughter. These are some true test scores from a middle school on history. Ancient Egypt was inhabited by mummies. They wrote in hydraulics and lived in the Sahara Desert. Solomon had 300 wives and 700 porcupines. Socrates was a famous Greek teacher who went around giving people advice. He died from an overdose of wedlock. The greatest writer of the Renaissance was William Shakespeare. He wrote tragedies, comedies, and hysterectomies. Christopher Columbus discovered America while cursing the Atlantic. It was an age of great inventions and discoveries. Sir Francis Drake circumcised the world with a 100-foot clipper. I believe that only when you let God lead you will your life take on meaning and purpose. You know, I think of the characters in Ayn Rand's book, The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. They had tremendous integrity. They did what they loved. They let their light shine. You know, I love that song by Frank Sinatra, Regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. Why? Because he did it Frank's way. He let his light shine. So if life has meaning and purpose, if life is intrinsically good, if miracles happen in everyday situations, and we all have a potential within that's silent, but that we can direct, how do we best utilize these things? We must be willing and daring enough to find out what we really want to do and be, and find the strength within to carry it out. So I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Yes, I became a chiropractor, but I eventually found out that I needed to be a spiritual healer and do it openly. So what is it that you love? What do you aspire to be? What are you willing to do to see it through to fruition? You know, the most famous healer of the 20th century was Olga Warrell. And she said, number one, place God first in everything in your life. Number two, desire the highest and the best for all concerned. In one of Olga Warrell's lectures, someone in the audience said, Olga, how could I do just like you? And say the lady's name was Carol. And Olga said, God doesn't want you to be an Olga 2. God wants you to be a Carol 1. So we all have the God-given gift of free will. And like the golden Buddha, we need to stand in the light and let our light shine to illuminate the path for those around us. We have a field of dreams. We are the farmers. Our thoughts will determine the crop, and God is working the field with you. Release the fat man within. Let your light shine, and your life will be transformed because you will be doing what you love. And by doing what you love, you'll be giving people your best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shaye. That was fantastic. And I want to invite all of you, please, that Dr. Shaye is doing a workshop after service today. It starts at 1 o'clock, and there's 2 parts to it. The first is actually going to be about high-level wellness, and the second half is going to be about spiritual healing. So please consider staying for the workshop, and if you can't do that, realize that for the next 3 days, Dr. Shaye is going to be here in Port Townsend doing individual healing sessions. And the sign-up sheets for the individual healing sessions are out in the foyer, and you can see what the opening spots are and what the cost is, okay? So at this point in our service, let me make sure I know where I am. I think we're ready for an inspirational song. To the world.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
Be seated. Now's the time in our service when we have the offering. So please get out your offering at this time. And we'll do our call to offering. Everyone with me, please. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Already on our way, already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings, already on their way. Already on their way, already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings, already on their way. And they're already on their way, already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings, already on their way. And since I'm not used to doing the prayers like Pam, I'm going to read our Sunday gratitude prayer over our offering. We open in gratitude to be conscious channels of divine blessing as we receive these generous financial offerings of love, support, and commitment. We open in grace to consciously affirm divine presence as we honor and gratefully count these prosperous gifts of blessing. We open in love to consciously embrace divine flow as we bless the gift, the giver, and the receiver of these rich offerings of dedication. We live in grateful appreciation that in God we live and move and have our being. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Thanks be to God. Thank you. And now it's time for announcements, of course. And after announcements, we will be singing. So the main announcement, of course, is Dr. Shaye's workshop. Please consider staying for that and hearing more about how his story unfolded. And also, he's going to be taking people in the audience and doing spiritual healing in the second half of the workshop. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, the other big announcement for this coming week is that Saturday the 30th, we're going to have an afternoon concert here with the Richard Russell Group, and that's at 3:30 in the afternoon. And pre-sale tickets from us are $22, but at the door they're going to be $27. So if you want to attend that, there's 4 musicians in that group, and it's wonderful music, so please consider signing up for that. And there's a sign-up sheet out in the foyer. In a couple weeks, we are going to be having an initial meeting for bringing back the Festival of Lights and having a Christmas boutique as part of that. And the more people who stay after the October 8th service and get together, then we can all decide all the parts that we're going to bring back. The soup, the cookies, the boutique, the potential psychic readings, all different vendors, all the Christmas displays and stuff. So the more people that help, the more we can do. And myself and Diane Vox are the co-coordinators for that this year, and we really appreciate it if you'd stay after service on the 8th, which is 2 weeks from now, and we're going to have pizza and discuss how we're going to do it, okay? So it's one of those fun things, and you know, the statement that everybody knows, many hands make light work. And that's what we really want to do. We want to have many hands making light work. Diane and I don't want to be stuck doing everything with Beverly and, you know, a few other folks that are hardcore, Juanice running the kitchen. And so we definitely would love your opportunity to spend a couple hours helping us get everything going for that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Prayer chaplains are here. We have, don't forget, after service, Zilpha is our prayer chaplain holding the high watch right now, but she's available to pray with you after service. And if you're a visitor and you want to know more about Unity, there are Welcome to Unity packages in the foyer, and there's a piece of dark chocolate inside. So, a little bit more about what Unity is all about, and get yourself a snack. And of course, please stay for coffee hour. There's coffee and all sorts of great snacks for fellowship after the service. There are many, many things on our website that we have here every week. In case you don't know, we have different meditations. The Ananda meditation is on Monday in the Hearth Room. Buddhist meditation is the first and third Thursdays in the Hearth Room. We have satsang coming back. We have Michelle's sound bath with her singing bowls again. And Mia Kelly is offering a Wednesday morning community practice starting October 4th, which is open for people to do body and voice, energizing your spirit, inspire your heart, and deepen connections. So lots of things going on. Also, there's a note here that says prayer chaplains will meet next week after service. So please stick around next week. And next week, we have a wonderful guest speaker. Tom is going to be doing our October 1st message, as well as doing an animal blessing since it's St. Francis Sunday. So he will be here, and I'll be filling in my part over here, and Tom will be here doing his part there. So, lots of fun things going on. At this time, it is time to do our peace song. So would everyone please form a circle around, and we can sing the peace song. I'm not sure if you know the peace song, but here it is, Dr. Shaye, this one right here. And we usually hold hands and sing the peace song.
Do I stand by the door and just greet them if they're heading out?
Absolutely. You can do that after the peace song. Hey there.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator,
United all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
the light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And Dr. Shaye will be at the door to greet you as you leave or to talk to you about his workshop, whatever you want. There are also videos and books of his for sale at the back of the church, so please go check those out. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kristen. And time to blow out the candles. Everyone at home, blow out your candle. Thank you. Yes. I know, I forgot to do that. I am so sorry.
You did a wonderful You did great.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the first time I've had to do the whole thing. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
If you could keep David Goldsmith on permanent vacation and take his place, it would be super.
Thank you. Thank you.
But we can only keep that